When it comes to manga, I'm a very simple person. If the main appeal is characters throwing hands in tournaments or on the street, I'm sold. I find myself chasing those hype and intense moments to feed this addiction. I'm guessing some of you are like me or just want more stuff to read. Thus, today I'm providing all the fighting manga recommendations in a quick and easy to consume format. Do me a favour by leaving a like and subscribing. Also feel free to leave your thoughts on any series I mention. Let's begin. Kengan Ashura is what I view as the perfect fighting manga and my favourite of all time, with a total of 236 chapters and a sequel manga called Kengan Manga with 142 at the recording of this video, having a weekly release schedule with non-stop hype. So if you want to be part of a fandom that's fairly chill and enjoy very clean looking fights, check out this manga. Next is Baki, probably the most known in today's video, with a total of over 1,000 chapters considering all the manga. I have separate videos going over the read order or watch order if you want to check out the anime, but Baki has the bizarreness that JoJo fans may like, has the martial arts roots, has the Chad moments, and this overall is a pretty solid staple. Record of Ragnarok can be classified as a tournament manga, with the battles consisting of humans versus gods. At the recording of today's video, 57 chapters have been released, with it being a monthly series, and we are currently on round 6. Ragnarok's popularity has gone up quite a bit over the last 2 years and will most likely continue going that way, so if you're not fully caught up currently, you're most likely missing out. Next we have the manga going by the name Garudan, with the art of the series actually being done by the Baki author before he started Baki, having a total of 238 chapters with some spin-off series as well. It's solely a martial art fighting series with tournaments, street fights, but the amount of fights in these 200 chapters is pretty insane. I'm currently on a reread to make a full dedicated video for it, being stunned by the sheer amount of fights occurring throughout this manga. Very incredible, and I would have to say this is probably the most underrated manga I'm going to talk about in today's video, so definitely check out Garouden. Tokyo Duel is another manga that can go in that tournament setting where the whole premise is the whole tournament that's occurring. Some characters are using weapons, some are solely martial arts based. I'm currently trying to get caught up with there being around 50 chapters released at the recording of today's video, and it's still ongoing, so you could catch up and be part of this growing fandom as well. One extra appealing thing about this series is the character designs definitely standing out and being very entertaining. I'm also planning to make a dedicated video when I catch up to this talking about the greatness Tokyo Duel is providing. Holyland is a finished manga with 182 chapters and is more so a underdog story, I would like to say, but also something that's very grounded and has a pretty solid overlying story, and the writing in this is definitely on the higher end. It's not so much this brainless fighting, there is a lot of story behind it, making characters like the protagonist more likable and engaging throughout as you learn more about him and see more psychological aspects throughout the story as well. This is probably the highest rated manga I'm going to talk about in today's video, at least by the broader manga fandom on various websites, etc. So Holyland is definitely top tier. Next is Tenkaichi, a tournament manga yet again. A lot of these kind of spawned after the insane popularity of Record of Ragnarok, while also being appealing and doing something different in each one of them. Tenkaichi has a pretty rough art style which is pretty cool to look at in various panels. There's only 11 chapters that recording today's video released. There may be a little bit more in the Japanese, but the translations are coming out at a steady pace. It is very solid so far. I haven't read up to the third fight, I'm only on the second fight still. I don't know if the third fight has even begun for the Raws, but so far it is pretty good and fairly underrated, so this may actually grow quite a bit over the next year in popularity, and it also has this, extra thick muscly waifu, so you got that as well. The Breaker is a Korean series, technically making it a manhwa, however it's done in the same style as most other manga, so I'm going to include in today's video. Another well acclaimed series throughout the manga community, very solid, having been finished with 72 chapters, but it does have a sequel series called The Breaker New Waves, and according to someone on one of my streams the other day, they said there's going to be a third series as well to it, or it may have actually already started. So there is quite a bit of chapters in the second one, 200 I believe. I haven't actually read The Breaker New Waves, only the original The Breaker. It does seem like it gets more supernatural as the story goes on, while providing very solid fights and a fairly consistent story on top of that. A very well acclaimed and respected series as well. I'm personally not the biggest fan of Kenichi the Mightiest Disciple. My only experience with it is the anime. It is more so focused on comedy, but it does have the fights and the martial arts element as many enjoy. The manga, I believe, has 583 or 4 chapters, so it is quite long, but a lot of people like it, so I might as well include it in today's video, but I'm personally not going to end up reading the manga. Next is a quick section on the various boxing anime and manga I've seen and personally enjoy. So we have Megalobosh, Ashita no Joe, Hajime no Ippo. I'm planning to actually watch all of the Hajime no Ippo anime sometime this year. And Levius. Levius is probably the most underrated one out of these 4. It is fairly futuristic, with the focus being more so on the steampunk boxing element, having a very different and unique art style that makes it a enjoyable read. I've seen the anime for it as well, but it's one of those Netflix full CGI things. The manga is definitely a better experience in my opinion. I haven't read too much of it and it's fairly hard to find, which is a disappointment. But if you're a fan of the boxing series, I think Levius is something fairly underrated that you should check out. Back to the tournament manga, we have Majo Taisen, Shimetsu no Valkyrie, but this time it is witches fighting one another. Having very clean art done by the creator of Kakaguri, the gambling anime. The fights are fairly engaging so far, some of them have pretty intense moments, and it's just a unique spin on the tournament fighting format. Tales of Destruction, tournament setting again, but this time various fairy tale creatures fight one another. Very gory and very dark, that's the uniqueness about this one, I guess. But I have no idea what's going on with the English translations for it. There are like 80 or so, or maybe the series actually finished for the Raws, so yeah, I have no idea regarding the English version. But those are the series that I've actually personally checked out. Next, I'm going to mention a few I plan to read, and from talking to people who have read them, they seem to be pretty good. We have the 2 series going by the name Tough, the first one and the sequel, having 319 chapters and 426 chapters, and there may actually be a 3rd series currently coming out, not 100% sure about that. From what I've seen of it, looking at various panels and from talking to people, very solid and underrated, so you may expect a dedicated video on that once I fully read it, but it is quite a bit to actually get through. And we also have these 3 manga that are being recommended that seem to be pretty well acclaimed when it comes to fighting, more so martial art based manga than like super crazy powerful gods and all that. If you have read any of these 3, let me know your thoughts down below and whether or not I should actually check those out, but from what I've heard they seem to be pretty decent. But yeah, that's pretty much everything for today's video. As always, comment down below any other martial arts or fighting series you recommend as well that I didn't talk about in today's video. I may put it on a list, read it one day and make a video, who knows. But hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure to subscribe. Check out all the other stuff down in the description. And as always, shout out to these absolute mad lads who support the channel via the Patreon. But yep, that's it guys. Peace.